I want to talk to you for a few moments on the powers of the mind. Your mind is the decision maker. It's the factory for knowledge. It's the storage center. The mind is a very powerful thing. The mind is so powerful that companies will pay $2.4 million for 30 seconds during a Super Bowl football game to flash in front of you a picture. The mind is so powerful in its ability to connect information that they can say this and you will feel this. The mind is so powerful that it will connect unrelated knowledge and unrelated information. For instance, you can watch a commercial and 29 seconds of the 30 seconds has nothing to do with the last second of the product. Your mind is deciding what you're feeling. You can't decide a feeling. You decide a focus, and your focus creates the feeling. Your mind collects experiences. The mind has to be renewed, it has to be trained. The mind gathers information, sorts it, distinguishes what matters and what doesn't. But you're responsible for what you do with your mind. Your mind is not you. It's a part. It's a mechanical thing that God put inside you that requires cleansing, renewing. But your mind is not you. Your mind starts a renewing process, and my experience has been that it continuously has to be renewed every morning, every day. My goal this morning is to increase your respect for your mind, that you give attention to it, that you protect it, that you realize it can destroy you or you can grow it and get strength through it. That your mind takes an information and magnifies it. And your mind can take a seed and turn it into a harvest. Your mind can take a feeling and turn it into a tragedy. Very little attention is given to the mind. The battle of life is for the mind. The battle of the mind is for focus. If you can learn to work with your mind, I can change your life, change your world. The only way you can change your life is through the renewing of your mind. The renewing of your mind is the only way you can change your life is through your mind. Your mind literally is the magnifier. It's also the source of motivation. The power of the mind. A lady saw a car fall on her little girl and went over and picked up the car off the little girl while someone else pulled the little girl out. Later, when the woman was tested for her strength, she couldn't even pick up 200 pounds. But seeing her child under that car, there was a supernatural strength that came on her. She was able to do what she could never do without that scenario. Your mind affects your body. The power of the mind is so strong that athletes that learn to work with the mind become supernatural achievers, huge. They become powerful. I remember working out with a trainer, and he said, think on the muscle that you're working out with. And I said, what difference does it matter? I can think of something I need to do. I think of a TV tape I need to make. He said, no, think on the muscle that you're working with. I said, how could there be any relationship between my thoughts and the muscle I'm working with, as long as I'm doing it? But in athletics, they know the power of the mind. It's the difference between the team that wins and loses. The comeback team that can be 20 points behind in the last 5 minutes through the power of the mind. Every coach knows the power of the mind. And between innings in a baseball game, between quarters in a football game or a basketball game, that coach is in there working with their mind. The mind decides what it believes. Repetition is a persuader of the mind. The mind, they say, when you think a thought, if you could hold your brain, every time you think a specific thought, there is a line, there is a groove made on your actual gray matter. There is a line. It's so tiny that you cannot see it with the natural eye. If you think that same thought, it goes again in the same way. There is a physical indentation in your brain matter. So tiny, so small, but there. If you keep thinking that thought, it becomes a groove, and it automatically begins to guide your behavior. It literally begins to birth instincts. So that if you keep thinking this same thought, it becomes habitual to go back to that thought. And it collects strength over and over and over. Your mind can focus, which means the elimination of anything else. It doesn't matter. Focus is the key to minimizing what doesn't belong in your life. You choose a focus and everything else neutralizes. Focus is literally your key to stripping everything of its power. I don't forget yesterday by meditating on yesterday. I forget yesterday by focusing on tomorrow. How do I get over my weaknesses? By thinking about my strengths. Some of us are so preoccupied with our weakness that our strengths are whimpering in the corner, unused, unnoticed, undeveloped. And I can magnify anything with my mind. Your mind focus decides what you're able to endure, what you're able to rise up over, what you're able to conquer. All the battles of life are inside your mind. They're inside your mind. And there must be a recognition of that. There must be an embracing of that. If I can conquer what's inside the head, I can conquer anything. Who's going to work on your mind if you don't? Nobody. A picture creates a feeling. Pictures. Go through magazines. Tear out pictures that excite you because they create feelings, and give your mind food. If your mind is not getting proper food, it will look for wrong food. You must fill up your mind. You must actively get involved with feeding your mind pictures. You ever went through your old pictures and saw a picture when you was 40 pounds lighter? You got inspired. I remember pictures. I was watching the Olympics one day. Got so excited. I love the muscles, those back leg muscles. I have no idea why, but the runners. I got so excited I went and joined 3 health spas that day. 3. Bought me 2 jogging outfits, 2 new pair of tennis shoes. Why? Pictures decide your conduct, your behavior. Choose the pictures that motivate you. Fill up your mind with those pictures. Second is words. The words you say and the words you listen to. Words create feelings. You might add to that sounds. Sounds. What are the sounds you love? Surround yourself with them. What are the words you love to hear? A single statement can forever change your personality. Anything that you can imagine, you can do. The power of the mind.